What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another bowl game preview and prediction. We just got two more left. Both of them are Big Ten SEC matchups. I lied earlier in my other videos when I said I had one left. Nope, I lied. I have two left, and this is one of them here. Coming from Tampa, Florida, in Raymond James Stadium, it's the ReliaQuest Bowl, kind of that fill-in for the Outback Bowl. I know a lot of people said, where's the Outback Bowl gone? This is the Outback Bowl. It features the Wisconsin Badgers and the LSU Tigers. Again, not the Outback Bowl. It's the ReliaQuest Bowl, and we'll talk about everything Badgers and Tigers here in a minute. But before we do, you guys know I gotta say thank you. I gotta say thank you, if I could speak properly, for all the love and support the channel has seen as of late. It does mean a lot to me, and it has been crazy to see just the length that this channel has grown, or I guess the height the channel has grown to. And if you want to continue to show your support for the channel, I mean, interact with the channel any way you can. Watch my videos, subscribe, ring the bell, like, comment, share. Anything you guys do is helping to support what I do here on YouTube, and I am very appreciative for everything that you guys are willing and or able to do. Before we dive on into this game, sometimes it can be a little tricky to determine, okay, who's opting out, who's entered the transfer portal, and everything like that. So Badger fans, Tiger fans, I have a list of names on my second monitor that you can't see over here. If I happen to miss a name or someone is playing that I'm not aware of, anything like that, please leave it in the comment section down below. I'd be very happy to hear what you guys have to say. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into this game here between the Wisconsin Badgers and the LSU Tigers, ranked 13th in the nation, according to the College Football Playoff Committee. I'm going to go out and say it right now here on paper. This seems like a mismatch here, right? Wisconsin was a team that really struggled this year. LSU lost a couple games that sure they'd probably end up liking to have back. That Florida State game, especially in that second half, that Ole Miss game there as well. You definitely had your opportunities to go beat the Alabama Crimson Tide, but this is a Wisconsin team that I think can put up a pretty good fight here. Offensively, though, they're definitely going to need some help. There is a ton of offensive talent that is not electing to play here in this game, either via the transfer portal or because they have opted out of the game. That is almost 1,000-yard rusher Braylon Allen. He's been battling some injuries this year. He's not playing. Couple good wide receivers there in Chimeke DK. Skylar Bell is not going to be playing as well as a couple of offensive linemen. Trey Wedig and Tanner Bortolini will not be playing as well. Bortolini, the big one there, as he was that team's starting center. But there is some good news for Wisconsin here, because in all likelihood, you've had Braden Locke as your quarterback for the closing stages of this season. In all likelihood, Tanner Mordecai is going to be back here playing in this game. And no, it hasn't been the season that a lot of people in Madison have dreamt of for him. 1,687 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks on 64% completion percentage. He was a 3,000-yard passer, 35 touchdown guy at the SMU the Mustangs, but still the talent level is there. We know that he can still be that guy. He's showing flashes of being that guy when he wasn't injured this year. And look, he is going to need to really find some weapons to step up and play some big minutes here. But he himself is going to have to be a game breaker as well. He's the team's third leading rusher. You still got guys like Ches Malusi there. Will Pauling is still there. Bryson Green is still there. Those are your top two guys in the wide receiver room. And all in all, it's been a pretty efficient third down offense, and I think that only gets better when you introduce Tanner Mordecai back to this system. But we know this Badger defense has done all season long, right? And I don't think I have to speak on what this Badger defense is and what it isn't, because even with Luke Fickell coming in, it's a Badger defense that maybe has taken, you could argue, a tiny step back, but overall has still been pretty darn good in Big Ten play this season. You're going to be without a couple good weapons defensively as well. Jordan Turner, that linebacker, 61 tackles, 3 sacks on the year. He is gone, as well as one of your better defensive backs in Jason Maitre. He will not be playing in this game either. But when you boil it down here, this is a pretty darn good Badger pass rush. They have 29 sacks on the year. No one has more than 5 sacks, so the pass rush comes from everywhere. Daryl Peterson has 4.5 sacks. CJ Getz has 4 sacks. And your second leading tackler there in Jake Chaney has 3. Your leading tackler in Hunter Wohler, I do believe, will be playing in this game as well. He plays the safety position there for this team. 4 pass defended, 2 picks. You forced 16 turnovers. Probably not as good of a third down defense as Luke Fickell would have wanted, but hey, that's under 40%. That's hovering right around that mark of being okay, you're good enough on third down for it to really make a big difference here, right? Let's move on over to the LSU offense, and they had the Heisman Trophy winner on the offensive unit this year. That was quarterback Jaden Daniels. He is not going to be playing here in this game. He had 3,812 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 4 picks, was the team's leading rusher with 1,134 yards and 10 touchdowns, average 8.4 yards per carry, and you were losing a dynamic playmaker there in Jaden Daniels, rightfully so, has opted out, elected to prepare himself for the upcoming NFL draft. But without him, you have a really high upside guy behind him in Garrett Nussmeier with 196 yards and 1 touchdown this year. Only 51% completion percentage. He has had some a little bit of consistency issues when he's played, but we're really going to get to see what Garrett Nussmeier is made of here in this game. He's still got a lot of elite playmakers. Now, I don't outright know the status of guys like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. I do believe Kyron Lacey is going to be a guy that plays in this game, as is Mason Taylor. But Neighbors and Thomas, if they play, boy, that's just more weapons for Nussmeier to have. If they don't, he's going to need some weapons to step up there. You also got guys like Logan Diggs, and you also have Josh Williams and Noah Kane in that backfield as well that can help generate something on the ground. Best third down offense in the entire country. The offensive line, for the most part, is pretty good. They allow a sack or two here and there, but it's also an offense that doesn't turn the football over. Nussmeier is going to look to carry that over here when he takes the reins in this game. Defensively, though, okay, this is where a lot of the questions come in about the LSU Tigers now, right? The offense can outscore anybody it plays, but if the defense is giving up a lot of points as well, that definitely doesn't help the case here for the LSU offense, and it especially is worrisome in this game because with Garrett Nussmeier not necessarily knowing fully what he is going to bring here, he definitely is not as dynamic of a rusher in any sense of the word as Jaden Daniels is. You're going to need to look for guys to make some plays here, especially if those top 2 wide receivers and Neighbors and Thomas are not going to be playing. But defensively, you're going to need guys to step up on this side of the ball here as well. Now, you have generated 26 sacks so far the year, but the defense is not that great on third downs. It doesn't force a ton of turnovers, and it struggles in not allowing those big plays, right? They allow over 160 yards on the ground, almost 250 yards through the air. This, just quite simply on paper, does not look like that good of a defense. However, we know that they have a ton of playmakers. You have one of the best linebackers in the country, and Harold Perkins was the team's 4th leading tackler this year. You have playmakers. They need to step up and make plays. It's time to dive on into the what to watch for. Kind of like your keys to the game. Hey, they're just some things I think you should keep an eye on while you're paying attention here to this one. We're going to go ahead and start out with the Wisconsin Badgers, as they are that designated road team. Again, as I've talked about, Mordecai is expected to be back. Now, if he is back, that is going to bode really well for Wisconsin because, again, even though he hasn't been that 3,500-yard, 30-touchdown guy or whatever it was I said back there, I probably switched some numbers there, but Mordecai is still a guy that can be a really good game maker. Now, how healthy is he? But, okay, look, he is a 6th-year senior, right? He is going to play in his final game if he is able to. Now, how effective can he be? I think he needs to be a game breaker. You're without a ton of offensive weapons. Braylon Allen is gone, your 3rd and 4th leading receivers, and probably you could argue your 2 most talented guys in that wide receiver room are gone. Now, you still have Ches Malusi, you still have your top 2 guys, but Mordecai himself going to need to make a lot of plays, especially because I still believe this LSU offense will be explosive, will put up yards, will put up points. Talk more about why here in a second, but we'll talk about it, or actually we'll talk about it a little bit now. It's just the balance that this LSU offense is able to bring. It has guys in the backfield. It has guys in the wide receiver room, and especially if Neighbors and Thomas are going to be playing here in this game, ooh, watch out, Wisconsin defense. This is a Wisconsin defense that needs to step up, needs to make some plays. It needs to generate takeaways, and then the offense with Tanner Mordecai is going to need to capitalize off of those takeaways. Again, something that's easier said than done against an LSU offense that doesn't turn the football over. But if you can generate takeaways, you need to make LSU pay for them. You need to go capitalize and score some points. Give yourself a cushion, especially if Wisconsin is going to find themselves with a lead here in this game. But I think that's going to be a little hard to come by for Wisconsin for a couple of reasons. One, I think Nussmeier is going to prove his high upside here in this game. I know there were a lot of LSU fans that when Jaden Daniels first transferred in, thought that Garrett Nussmeier was still going to start anyway. Now, obviously, Jaden Daniels went and won the Heisman Trophy, so I don't think LSU fans are complaining too much, but I do think that a lot of this fan base is still really excited to see what Garrett Nussmeier has, and I think taking a look at Nussmeier here in this game, especially if Neighbors and Thomas play, he has a ton of weapons to work with, and I think he is going to play really, really well. And sure, he might not be as dynamic of a playmaker as Jaden Daniels, but I think he's still going to go out and make some pretty darn good plays. All the weapons are still here, right? There are no notable opt-outs or anything that I am aware of at this point in time as of recording this video. Now, again, there could be names that come out and say, hey, we're not going to play. We're going to prepare for the draft, and Neighbors and Thomas being those two guys right there. I think all signs are pointing to them playing. So, again, there goes my point, right? Nussmeier, a high upside quarterback that hasn't really gotten to prove his full potential quite yet. All of the weapons are still here. He's got a lot of playmakers that can go make plays, but defensively, here is where the key for LSU comes in. The offense is going to be fine. The offense is going to put up yards. It's going to put up points. You need to stop Wisconsin from doing the same thing, especially now that Tanner Mordecai is back. Pressure the backfield. Don't allow Mordecai to create the big play. I do think that Tanner Mordecai is going to have some pretty good moments here in this game. I think he's going to have a couple really nice throws. I think this running back room, even without Braylon Allen, is going to have a couple really nice runs there as well. This LSU defense just gives up too much for me to say that Wisconsin isn't going to put up some yards and isn't going to score points here in this game. But I do believe in Garrett Nussmeier, and I do believe that this is an LSU offense that, with all of its weapons still here, will take advantage of this Wisconsin defense that at times, not always the crispest defense that we have seen out of the Badgers in years past. I think LSU simply just has too much offense, and they run away with this one in the end. 36-23 is the way I see it playing out. But let me know how you guys see it playing out in the comment section below. And as always, remember to play hard but tailgate hard, or I'll see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.